part of the rebuild is to get ourselves a donor car that we can use to swap the motor into. We have that. We got ourselves a donor car and I am driving it right now. It feels so good to be behind the wheel of a fun car again. Has no power steering. And it has a 6-puck clutch, so it takes some work. We're just driving the car around the neighborhood right now. Luckily, I live in a kind of like backwoods, dead end type of area. So the car isn't registered, it's not insured or anything, so I'm just kind of cruising around in it. But enough talking. Let me show you guys the car. So when it came down to finding the right car, it was a mix of a few things. These cars are old, so it's hard to find them with less than 100,000 miles. So that was kind of a priority for me. I wanted to find one that wasn't passed around between too many owners. Luckily, I found a car that was owned by one person, him and his father. And I didn't want the mods to be too crazy, but I wanted to make sure they had the right things that would help me in speeding up the process of this build. So I found this car. I searched all over Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Auto Trader, all that, and I searched all across America, and luckily this one was only about 45 minutes away from me, and here she is. So it's a 2005 SRT-4 with only 82,000 miles on it. It has a Tuner Geeks Sidewinder V-band manifold, which has the turbo sitting on the side of the motor, which looks crazy. To find a car that has this manifold already is a huge time and money saver for me. So, and I mean, just look at it. It's sick. The car has a port and polished head. It has stage 2 cams. It has some cam gears. Has the Sidewinder manifold. It has a Precision 5862 turbo. Right now it's pushing 14 pounds of boost. The intake manifold is ported. It has a high flow fuel rail, fuel pressure regulator, a lot of stuff to make sure that the car can handle more power. And right now it's making 340 horsepower to the wheels and 280 pounds of torque. I would like to get a new intake manifold for it and up the boost so we can hit 400. I know the car is capable of it, and with all the supporting parts it already has, it shouldn't be a problem. If you guys are familiar with Chris's legacy build, one of his friends, Cody, actually helped him out a lot with that, and he's on the way to the house now. He's going to be helping out with almost all the steps on the car, and most importantly, the swap. So he is on the way. We're going to analyze and break down kind of the order things need to happen in, just taking a look at both cars' engine bays side by side to see if they're any different at all. They shouldn't be, because I'm pretty sure the frame and the chassis on all Neons are the same. But regardless of that, let's head over to the house now and meet Cody.
Hi, buddy.
Wow, looks good.
Thanks, buddy.
How much of a lift is that?
This is no lift yet.
No lift?
No lift. No lift!
Wow.
Yet. I've been convinced this past week I'm doing a 1-inch lift, though.
Hey.
Just a reminder, this is the daily, you know. Not going to spend any money on it. Ordering a lift kit, light bar, whatever.
I'm going to take you for a ride, so move it behind the stool.
I'm nervous.
Yeah. All right, car number 1. Turbo flickering. Car number 2.
Weird place to launch. It stalls it.
Doesn't start back up.
Is this the hot dog cooker?
It's not even that hot. All right, so we got to get this and this. So if you're a fan of Chris's legacy and Chris's channel, you've probably seen this guy before, Cody, who helped Chris build a lot of that car, and some of it even happened here. You came down here today to kind of talk about the car. What kind of goals do you have for today at least.
So today, being that like Anthony was saying that these are basically the same chassis, it's gonna be a quick swap over. I wanted to see what we can also swap over, whether it's easier to swap like a whole subframe assembly with the motor attached to it, just pull the motors and all that. So today I just want to make a game plan up and just evaluate both cars, make sure that it's good to go, and then make a list of parts while the motors are out that we can have easy access to. So doing a time melt kit, like oil pan seal, like everything like that while the motor's on a stand, to make a list for that, and then make a list of attack of where the car has to go next, whether it's the body shop for the engine bay to be done, what parts we want to do for shaving, and just kind of make a big game plan before we just rip both motors out and then they're just sitting like, oh, what do we do now? So yeah, just a general look over. So being that this has a rear mounted turbo setup on it, when we go to pull the motor, we have to pull the turbo beforehand because otherwise it's just going to hit the firewall. And if you notice, I see that they had to hammer the firewall a little bit, which is normal. It's going to happen when fitting a fucking turbo on a car that wasn't supposed to have it. So we'll pull the turbo off, pull the downpipe, pull the exhaust. We're going to pull all the cooling system.
This mount can be gone, which will get rid of this bracket. These holes here, that is for the stock coolant overflow and washer fluid.
Which we delete
So shit. Yeah. So that's gotta go. The AC inlet outlets back there. There's a bunch of like random studs all going on back there. Let's see. Yeah. Oh. There's a bunch of random studs and bits that all need to be shaved off and then leveled out. So subframe, if it's good in the other car, I definitely want to bring it over, or just get a new one from like Rock Auto because they're cheap. But if you look over here, this one has seen better days for sure.
Oh wow, yeah. That'll happen on a little car, yeah.
So I wouldn't like a nice, just like new and fresh, just really give it that like brand new car feel.
Yeah, there's.
That's the bottom motor mount.
Yeah.
Taking some hits.
Yeah, that's controlling the pitch of the motor. So we'll basically just disconnect everything, pull the motor. Looks like that's an oil cooler right there. So we'll either see what the other one has or just get a whole new one or a bigger upgraded one. It's seen better days. Really nice setup with the dump tube blasting right at the CV boot. That's always good. This thing at one point was, supposed to be somewhere.
What is that?
It looks like a carrier bearing of some sort, but I think it was supposed to be down a bit and it broke free of its mount, but that's alright. You don't need that anymore. Go for basically a full frame restoration.
Yes. Get all this painting.
And like now's the best time to do all that kind of stuff. And like Anthony did it right by getting a really, really nice donor car versus, one on the cheaper, crappier side. Because now he's getting a whole bunch of upgraded parts, but now while we're in the process of pulling stuff out, we can be upgrading things while we put things back in. Because now's the perfect time to do it. You're never going to have the motor out, suspension out, and all that out again, unless you want to, but...
Not trying to do that.
No. I always tell people, if you're going to replace something, might as well upgrade it so that either you don't have to upgrade it again, or you don't have to replace it again. So now is the perfect opportunity to just, do things right and get rid of a lot of those crappy welds. Alright, so basically me and Anthony just showed you guys the plan that we're going to have. We're going to come back in a couple weeks. We're going to pull the motor out of the white car, put that on a tire because it's done with, or if you guys want to buy it. And then we're going to start pulling the motor out of the black car, put that on a stand, take it apart. We got some upgrades already in the works for it, and just kind of clean it up, paint it. And then while we're doing that, the white car is being sent off for the bodywork in the engine bay after Ant does as much as he can. We're going to try and save on labor rates because we're going to do it ourselves.
Go subscribe to Cody's channel.
Hi.
If you haven't yet, he actually did start one not too long ago when he was finishing up stuff with Chris's car.
Yep.
Yeah, right? It wasn't like
Chris's
too long
car,
ago.
and then when I got the Forester, I really started to.
Yeah, so if you want to learn about stuff, learn how to install stuff on Subarus or just cars in general, or see what he's up to, his link will be in the description and on the screen.
Over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, please subscribe and keep an eye on it because you guys are going to see the neon build as well. What we did with Chris's channel mostly was he kind of just explained shit, and then on my channel was always more detailed, in-depth things. So if you guys, in the process, there's anything that's in-depth that you guys want to see, we can do it on both channels, but that's another reason to go check out my channel is there's a lot more do-it-yourselves.
Thank you for watching. Part 3 maybe very soon.